Yo, 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 what's going on? Welcome to another episode with Talk with TP. This your boy TP, man. And in today's episode, we're going to be speaking about how one of the nation's largest credit unions, Navy Federal, has been accused of denying more than 50% of their black customers a conventional loan. So y'all tune in for today's episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. Welcome to the family, man. So I'm going to share an article that I read here on CNN. And to be quite honest with y'all, I'm not surprised with the Navy Federal thing. I am surprised to an extent, only because Navy Federal Service is a bank that services our veterans and our veterans' families and friends. And it's kind of disheartening to know that people who put their lives on the line, or people whose families have put their life on the line for this country, is being discriminated against. And it ain't cool, no matter what the race is. But we keep on seeing that these large banks are denying mortgage applications for black people. You know what I'm saying? You saw it in Navy Federal now. You've seen it in Wells Fargo. Bank of America did the same thing. And these banks continue to get a slap on the wrist. No one does anything about it. They don't take any action against these banks. So they're going to continue doing it, man. It ain't going to happen to Navy Federal, unfortunately. But I'll read this article and we'll dive deeper into that later, man. So this is an article that I seen on CNN, right? Let me share it with y'all. So CNN says the nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants. So more than 50% were denied a mortgage loan. Okay, so it says the largest credit union in the U.S. has the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender, a trend that reached new heights last year, a CNN analysis found. So not only do they have, they're the largest credit union in the U.S., and they got the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender. That's big. That's crazy too. But I have an experience with Navy Federal. I'll tell y'all about it. So it says here that Navy Federal Credit Union, which lends to military service members and veterans, approved more than 75% of the white borrowers who applied for a new conventional home purchase mortgage in 2022, according to the most recent data available from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But less than 50% of black borrowers who applied for the same type of loan were approved. So white borrower gets approved, half of the black borrowers get denied. For the same loan, nothing different, the same loan type. It says here, while many banks also approve white applicants at higher rates than black borrowers, nearly 29% point gap. The nearly 29% point gap in Navy Federal's approval rate was the widest of any of the 50 lenders that originated the most mortgage loans last year. Let me read that again. While many banks also approve white applicants at higher rates than black borrowers, the nearly 29% point gap in Navy Federal's rate was the widest of any of the 50 lenders that originated the most mortgage loans last year. A 29% point gap. The disparity remains even among white and black applicants who had similar incomes and debt to income ratio. So you got people coming in with the same income and the same DTI, which is debt to income ratio, and they still getting denied. They still getting told, no, you don't deserve a home. Notably, Navy Federal approved a slightly higher percentage of applications from white borrowers making less than $62,000 a year than it did black borrowers making $140,000 or more. So they approved more applications for white borrowers that made less than $62,000 than they did black borrowers making $140,000 a year. So you got people making 5 figures getting approved for a mortgage, but then you got ones making 6 figures getting denied. Make it make sense, man. A deeper statistical analysis performed by CNN found that black applicants to Navy Federal were more than twice as likely to be denied as white applicants, even when more than a dozen different variables, including income, debt to income ratio, property value, down payment percentage, and neighborhood characteristics were the same. So everything is still the same. Everything the same except for one thing, and that's the skin color. Period. Same amount of money, the same income, the same DTI, same property value, same down payment percentage, same kind of neighborhood. White borrower, black borrower. The white borrower gets approved, the black borrower gets denied. And black borrowers with the same thing as the white borrower was twice as likely to get denied. It's only one common thing. It's the skin color. That ain't cool, man. It ain't fair. But what's gonna be done about it is the question. So there was a business owner in Texas who who was denied a mortgage by Navy Federal in 2021 and then approved by another lender about 2 weeks later. And he was rejected from a mortgage for them. And he felt like his reason for being denied was based on racism. You know what I'm saying? But he couldn't prove it. And that happens so often, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can speak from experience because a few years ago, I had a customer who I was working with, a client who I was working with, and he came to me pre-approved through Navy Federal, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to really work with him based on that fact, but I know he needed my help. So I worked with the man, right? He had just sold a house in Georgia. He found me through Facebook. He sold his house in Georgia. I helped him connecting with my partner in Georgia. And he sold the house. And now he moved down here to buy a house. And when he moved down here to buy a house, he came to me pre-approved through Navy Federal. And I was very skeptical. I don't like dealing with the big banks because the big banks, they don't properly, for one, when you get pre-approved through these big banks, they don't properly vet you. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is when you getting pre-approved, they you call them or you walk into the branch and they're not asking for your W-2s up front. They're not asking for your tax returns up front. They're not doing credit score checks. They're not asking for pay stubs up front. And they just pre-approve you based on word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? And this particular client, who's a veteran who served our country, good dude, very good dude, upstanding man. He did everything right. And when it got time for Navy Federal, we found him a house, nice house, beautiful home. And when it got time for us to get his loan approved, because he was pre-approved by Navy Federal, now it's time for Navy Federal to approve his loan. And they pretty much deny him or whatever. And we in contract for a house. So Here it is. We trying to hurry up and get this process going. He got denied. I had to take him and switch him over to one of my local lenders and get him on the contract and get his contract transferred over to them to get his loan approved so we can close on his house. Thank God that my lender. Thank Thank God that my lender was good and was able to get it done because we did close on time or whatever. But had he not closed on time, he would have lost his dream home. You know what I'm saying? And he was the black man. So I can personally say from experience that I've dealt with that through Navy Federal, or whatever, man. And it's very unfortunate to see that Navy Federal is in the headlines for this same behavior that Wells Fargo has been in the headlines for, Bank of America has been in the headlines for, and I want to say Chase. If I'm wrong, God forgive me. Allegedly Chase, you know what I'm saying? But these banks, they do it. And when they do it, nothing happens, man. They get a slap on the wrist. They pay a little fine. But let that be a local lender doing something like that, they'll lose their whole business. You know what I'm saying? They'll lose everything they work for. But these banks, they continue to get away with it. So I always tell my clients, man, don't use the big banks. I always give them reasons why. I educate them on not using the big banks for one, to discriminate. And what I'm saying is a fact. It's just go to Google. The big banks always discriminate. So I always recommend local lenders. And I tell them, don't use the big banks because you know they discriminate. They don't properly vet you. You know what I'm saying? Then when they do approve you, pre-approve you, or whatever, they give you a 1-800 number, especially Wells Fargo. You get a 1-800 number and you're dealing with somebody that's on the West Coast. You live on the East Coast. So you're on a 3-hour time difference or whatever. So you're dealing with that. You don't have anybody local. You can't text them. They answer the phone when they want to answer the phone. They answer emails when they want to answer emails. You can't pull up to the office or to a branch location. If you do, they're going to tell you to call the 1-800 number. But when you're dealing with somebody local, you can call, you can text, and you can pull up. You know what I'm saying? You can go in there and sit down with your lender and really get to the bottom of what's going on and implement a strategy. Local lenders, the big banks, they black and white. They black and white. You know what I'm saying? But the local lenders, they are strategic. They know how to make it work. They know how to get the deals done. Me personally, now when people come to me pre-approved with a Wells Fargo or something like that, they're not my client. And people will say, oh, that's messed up. But I know how these banks work, man. I've been in the business for almost 9 years now. And I've never, ever had a good experience with a Wells Fargo or a Navy Federal bank. You know what I'm saying? Even Chase. Chase was a bad experience too, because they're not doing the heavy lifting up front. Besides the discrimination aspect of it, we know they're doing that. But as far as the heavy lifting, your pre-approval paper means nothing if they don't do the heavy lifting up front. If they're not pre-approving you up front by checking your bank statements, your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns, and your credit scores, if they're not doing that up front, your pre-approval trash. You ain't pre-approved. You need to have it done up front. When I go out with my clients and I go show my clients homes, the pre-approval has all the hard work has been done up front. So now when I go out, we already got upfront desktop underwriting done. I can give them a DU. I can give a listing agent my client's DU to get the offer accepted because all the hard work been done. You know what I'm saying? So so I guess the point of this video is to bring light to what's going on. Letting you know that discrimination is still real, racism still exists. And I believe that home ownership is important. Home ownership is how we close the gap. The disparity is real. The wealth gap is real. And the Black community continues to fall behind because the odds are stacked up against us. No matter how you slice it, the odds are still stacked up against us. And this article proves it. People have got the same thing. Two different people have the same thing, the same finances, the same DTI, the same property value, the same down payment, the same income, and they still get denied because of their race. So you can't tell me that the odds aren't stacked up against a certain race, because it is. But my thing is, how do we change it? A slap on the wrist is going to happen to these banks. They pay a little small ass fine and then it's over with. But there should be more done. More should be done by that. You know what I'm saying? So my suggestion is avoid using these big banks, because just because you bank with a bank don't mean you gotta buy a house with a bank. Be loyal to those that's loyal to you. These banks don't care. And I don't know how many times we gotta see it. I get it all the time when I'm dealing with my clients. Well, I want to use my bank. I've been banking with so and so for 20 years, man. Them people don't care about you like that, man. These people don't give a damn about you being a client for 20 years. Go try to get a house and see if they really care about you. And I get it so much. I hate when people always want to give you pushback when you try to tell them, don't use your bank. Don't use your bank, baby. I'm telling you, ma'am, sir, I recommend you not use your bank. I recommend you use a local lender. I can give you 3 references, recommendations. You can choose whoever you like to go with. You know, you can go look on Google, do a review check, check them out, call each and every last one of them, interview them. You get a feel for them, stop by their office, have coffee with them, whatever you decide. Let them know who you choose. That's how I tell my clients, because you can't go have coffee with the person at Wells Fargo or at Bank of America or at Chase or at Navy Federal or at Gold Coast Credit Union, wherever you want to go. None of these banks, you can't go sit down and have coffee with your lender. You're never going to see the person that closes your loan or funds your loan in person from these big banks. Never. Once you understand that, your realtor gotta lead you and guide you. A lot of times people come into the process of buying a house and they don't want to take the advice of the person who's helping them. But I always tell my clients, it ain't about the money with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. I do what I do because I love what I do. And of course, I get paid well for what I do. But I'm not going to do no bad business or connect you with anybody just to get a deal done. If it ain't done righteously, I don't want it. I had a lender who I felt like was, I had a lender who I was working with, and all of my clients didn't come in with 700 credit scores. At this point in time in my career, I was working with a lot of first-time home buyers, and a lot of these customers didn't have the highest credit scores. So a lot of them came in with the 500s, the low 500 scores, the low 600, and a lot of them needed work. They needed an extra push. They needed credits. They needed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I was willing to do that. You know what I mean? I used to, man. I've done a lot for a lot of my clients. You know what I'm saying? And I know that had I not done what I've done or got my lender to do, it wouldn't have happened. But this particular lender, I felt like was cherry picking on who he wanted to serve. He wouldn't take the less qualified clients. You know what I'm saying? And he had that right, I guess you can say. You know what I mean? But my whole thought process on it is, if you can't serve them, you can't serve none of my clients. If you don't want to put the extra work in, the extra effort to make sure these people obtain home ownership, then you can't serve my clients. They got a 700 score or 800 score or a 750 score. You can't serve one, you can't serve none of them. So I took my business from that particular lender. Good person, I've never had issues with this person or whatever, you know what I mean? And I know if I call this person right now, they answer the phone for me. But it was just a point that I felt like they wouldn't service, they didn't want to service everybody. They didn't give everybody the same love and attention. And I took it personal because at the end of the day, those are my clients. I referred them to you. You know what I'm saying? So if I referred them to you, they trusted my word. So I got to make sure that everything I told them about you stands up. But they telling me, oh, yeah, I gave them my information. They pulled my credit score, but they're not calling back. They're not following. Okay, cool. Say less. I'm going to put you over here. You know what I mean? So I'm rambling. I'm rambling, man. I take this type of stuff personal because I do real estate for real. I'm in the field and I deal with racism. I see it all the time. And people want to act like it don't exist, but it does exist. It's here. You know what I'm saying? It's here. As you can see, if we can't get home ownership, and they did this in 2022 when the interest rates were low. So when interest rates was low, these folks had the opportunity to buy a house and they had the money, but they were denying them the access to the capital. Like, come on, man. It's foul, bro. It's foul. I don't care how you slice it, it's foul. You know what I mean? So if we can't attain home ownership, we can't create the generational wealth that we need for our family. We can't close the wealth gap. We can't cross the bridge. We can't begin to set our family up for that generational wealth. Because you buy one house, then the goal is to buy two. Everybody don't look to be invested. Some people looking for their forever home. There might be just that one house. Everybody don't have the opportunity to buy more than one house, but most people looking to buy that one house to make it their forever home. People work hard, and this is why when I deal with people, a lot of folks come in with hurt or disbelief, or they come in with I deal with people and they be like, they don't trust people. They have a hard time trusting and believing because they done been through some process where they had a bad realtor or a bad lender. And it's because of that. They've been scorned. You know what I mean? So realtors, man, you as realtors, we gotta take the bull by the horn and really guide our clients. Like, tell them why to avoid these big banks. Show them why. Give them proof. Give them evidence. Give them stories that you've experienced from true experiences. I got several stories from Wells Fargo, and I got Chase, and I got not Bank of America too, but maybe Federal. True stories. And I tell my clients, hey man, you choose. You want to go that route, that's cool, but I'm not the realtor for you. I'm not finna go through that. Because at the end of the day, when things go left, you're gonna blame me. You ain't gonna say, well, he told me don't do it and I did it. I didn't listen to him. So I ain't gonna keep rambling. I ain't gonna go off subject, man. That's my 2 cents on this here. I want to share this with you and bring it to light on what's going on with Navy Federal discriminating against minorities, and let you see what's going on, and also encourage you and educate you on the process, man. Don't use these big banks. Do not use the big banks. To hell with the big banks. Use your local lenders. If you need a local lender, you're in the South Florida area, holler at me. I'll give you a couple numbers, couple names, couple numbers, couple email addresses. You know what I'm saying? Because who you work with matters, man. I always say that. I've been saying that for years. Who you work with matters. And if you're working with anybody that ain't loyal to you, to your process, to your family, to your dreams, and to your goals, they ain't gonna care. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for me tonight, man. Y'all have a blessed one, man. It's your boy TP, and I'm gone.